For this review we look at a Volvo tractor and it's paired with an AMT tipper trailer. This is a limited edition model and it's in the colours of Aksel, which is a Danish haulage company. The model comes in a typical WSI branded box and it's factory sealed. And inside the box there are just the two parts of the model. There's the Volvo tractor and the big tipper trailer. In terms of assembly, the only thing you need to do is to join up the tractor and the trailer, and that's really very straightforward. The pin of the trailer goes into the fifth wheel on the tractor, but not with the usual click on the review model. Looking underneath, the Volvo is very detailed, although it's a little bit unusual, and that's because although the box describes the model as a 6x2, the third axle is a driven single, which makes it a 6x4. One thing that is certainly very good is the Volvo cab, and it has a really nicely detailed front, including the grills and a realistic number plate. The wheels look very smart, and one highlight on the model is the quality of the graphics, which are really sharp. There's nice casting detail on the back of the cab, there's coiled air lines and lots of anti-slip walkway. Looking at the back, the unusual lights have plastic lenses. Moving on to the trailer, and the chassis is very detailed and it includes hoses running to the axles, and the suspension is very nicely modelled. At the front, the ladders and access platforms are modelled in metal. The wheels are very smart and the body sides are made of metal and have good casting details, and the graphics are really sharp. At the back, the mud flaps are very detailed and the tailgate also looks realistic. Up on top, the plastic canvas covering has got a good texture. So here we are again on the Cranes Etc test track, and the Volvo is a smooth mover in a straight line. Let's grab a load of it and see what's underneath, and the rear wheels spin easily and are fixed to common axles. At the front, the steering is pretty typical for a WSI model and the range of movement is very restricted. Still, you can turn the front wheels a little bit, so the Volvo will trace a very shallow curve. The other working feature on the Volvo is the tipping cab, and that poses in the tilted position and lets you see the detailed Volvo engine underneath. Next up is a look at the AMT tipping trailer. It is free rolling and all of the axles spin easily, and one feature that's been engineered well is that there is independent suspension on each of the axles. Moving to the front of the trailer, there are landing legs which can be lowered by unscrewing them. And as usual, WSI has done a good job with this feature because there are no visible screw threads when you lower the pads. The trailer stands properly on its landing legs and the suspension works well. Of course, one thing you can do with an articulated truck is to practice your parking manoeuvres, but please don't try this if you don't have a license. This is a tipping trailer, so the next function to look at is the tipping action itself. It's controlled by a multi-stage hydraulic ram, but the review model couldn't hold every position in its action. The maximum tipping angle achieved is about 40 degrees. At the back, the tailgate opens, and although it's a little bit constrained by the replica tarpaulin, it does swing freely. There is one further option for displaying the model, and that is that you can take off the tarpaulin. And if you want, you can also remove those cross struts that keep the sides apart. This is another very nice limited edition truck model by WSI. The detailing is very good, as is most of the functionality, but perhaps the most impressive part is the very attractive colour scheme. So in summary, it's a very good looking model that's well made, and it is therefore easy to highly recommend.